All right, the 49ers defeat the Rams 24-9 on Monday Night Football. Did the 49ers prove that they are what they still are, the best team in the NFC West? And my guy Ryan is here on the show joining us right now, okay? And Ryan, I know you're a 49ers fan. Are they still the best team in the NFC West? Talk to me.
Bang, bang, not a game, baby. Bang, bang, not a game. With that being said, not trying to be biased. Yes, they are the best team in the NFC West. The ironic thing, I'm going to go ahead and say this and get this out of the way early. And Real Liv has said this plenty of times. And sometimes in life, even Stephen A. and everybody says it. Sometimes you got to have a change of heart. You got to take what's given to you and you got to take it with ease. So when I say this, I'm going to say this because of my change of heart somewhat. Jimmy G is the right quarterback for this team. I know this is weird and crazy for everyone. Trey Lance is a guy that was young and promising. I think he was kind of like in life, how you pick something. It's like you have your new girlfriend and your ex-boo, but sometimes you may know your ex-boo knows you more because you've been with her for so long. But your new boo is your new love, your new whatever. So you got to make that work. Like, no matter if she knows everything, your ex-boo may say he may like this or she may like have a male or female. And you just got to go with it because you went with it and you made that choice. So you're stuck with it, you lied it. That's what happened to Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan likes those quarterbacks he can groom and control. I don't think Kyle Shanahan really wants an elite quarterback. When I say that part, I'm saying that, like, even if you'd have went and tried to make a trade for an elite quarterback, he would have to give up the form. So meaning, like, the defense wouldn't be as stout as it is if he got an elite quarterback. They probably ask for pieces. Any team giving up a Patrick Mahomes, let's say, for example, they're not saying it's going to have Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers at this moment, or even Josh Allen right now, or Justin Herbert. You're going to give up a lot just to get that quarterback. Yeah, you get your elite quarterback, but you're going to lose a lot too with it. So Jimmy G was the perfect scenario. At the end of the day, Jimmy G didn't have Jimmy G didn't get the playbook. Jimmy G had surgery during the off season. And people, let me refresh the people for In the Huddle podcast right here real quick, real live. So I'm not going to ramble. I'm going to call this raw thoughts here. People understand the significance of changing the playbook. Oh my God, he was there last year. He should know. No. Every quarterback has a certain system, and in OTAs, volunteer OTAs. Sometimes you may get a whole new playbook, throw the one you had out last year, depending on the style of quarterback you got. Trey Lance was a quarterback. Trey Lance, Jimmy G are two different style of quarterbacks. So what they did was we're going in with Trey Lance. We're going to respect you, Jimmy G, and we're going to find a trade partner for you with all due respect. We're not going to do you dirty, but we're going to let you be on the sideline, heal. Even if you have surgery, we're going to let you heal. Let you and your agent find somebody. Apparently, that didn't happen. So now you got OTAs. You're going with a whole new playbook under Trey Lance. Everything is out the door. They got read options. They got design runs that you ain't going to run with Jimmy G with the team. So now you have a whole different playbook. You didn't get the playbook. You didn't get nothing. They was already in trade mode to trade you. And now, okay, we'll bring you back under the senator plan. You still ain't really got the playbook like that. Then bam, Trey Lance gets hurt. Now you get thrown in there just like pretty much freelance, like playground football. And now you're had the lights. Kyle Shanahan said, I threw away he said in an interview, I threw away my whole playbook when Jimmy G got there because I wasn't expecting that. So he had to pretty much ditch everything that he knew based upon Trey Lance to bring in Jimmy G. Now everybody's getting back in the rhythm of the old offense from last season. Maybe some more attitude. Who knows? Best gift and the curse is I hate Trey Lance got hurt. But I think the best situation, the 49ers in win now mode. We don't necessarily have time to hope and predict that we'll get to the playoffs off of Trey Lance. Let's say if he goes okay the next 6-7 games, and he goes okay, he's not great.
And groom him. Like, you don't got time to groom. Like,
right. You're trying to win now. So for me, raw thoughts at the end of that little fiasco I just said, the 49ers are the best team in the NFC West. One, because of the defense. Two, because they got a playmaker, Deebo Samuel, if you got to hand it off and throw it to him. And three, I just think right now at the moment, whether we like it or not, he's not elite, but Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback for this situation because you're not going to get an elite quarterback walking in the room anytime soon. So you got to take what you got.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my take short here. I know this is my guy team here, so I'll let him go, past the mode here. And listen, I think for me, to keep it real short, I agree with a lot of what he said, you know, especially when it comes to Jimmy G. I think he's been the most disrespected quarterback in the NFL, period. You know, I said it before on the record. I'm sure I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to continue to say it again because, you know, he was kind of like threw up to the side, like, yo, not even practicing with the team, you know, just almost like he was trash. Like he didn't come over here and help Kyle Shanahan turn this team into a contender that made the Super Bowl. And I get he had his flaws and all that, but I just think when you have a guy like Jimmy G, fast release, quick release, it's built to get the ball to Deebo Samuel, the return of the yak. And the fact that, like Ryan pointed out, you had a whole different playbook. You was running a whole different offense, and yet you had to throw it away, and Jimmy G had to adjust. Plus, he had the shoulder surgery. Like, that's a real thing. The fact of the matter is they 2-2, and he's starting to get in the rhythm. I think it was the best case scenario. And when you talk about Deebo Samuel and that catch that I thought was the biggest play of the game, 57-yard catch that he just said, you know, I'm taking this to the end zone. Like, I did not think that play was going to go for a touchdown, and it did. That's because that's the type of way he plays. And the fact of the matter is, when you talk about his stats, according to Pro Football Focus or Next Gen, there's nobody that has more yards after the catch since 2019 than Deebo Samuel. That's meant for Jimmy G. That's meant to get the ball out to that guy and let him make a play. Not to mention the defense that might be the best in the conference. I like Philly. I like them. This defense is going to carry them, and Deebo's going to carry them. So the only concerns that I would have with this team, and yes, to answer the question, they are the best team in the NFC, is the fact of the matter is they need to remain healthy. Something happened to Deebo. I'm not sure if I feel good about this team anymore. And that's what's going to be the big thing for me is how is Kyle Shanahan going to manage Deebo as a wide back, a halfback, right, with the Elijah Mitchell injury, or they going to continue to feed Jeff Wilson and give him some snaps from time to time because you don't want him hurt, because that's the end for me. Like, you need him there. And my last point, and I'll let Zach get in here, I think when you talk about Jimmy G and Jacoby Brissett, both quarterbacks took something from Tom Brady when they was on the Patriots together. You notice Jacoby Brissett is one of the best quarterback sneakers in the league when it comes to the quarterback sneak. He got that from Brady. Brady was the best. You know how Jimmy Garoppolo has his fast release? He got that from Brady. Brady's the best at that. So both quarterbacks are taking some of the little nuances that they took from the GOAT and are using it right now in their current situations.
Yeah, I think the thing with the 49ers that's so fascinating is there is no doubt that this team right now is better with Jimmy G than Trey Lance. But I wonder with Jimmy G if their ceiling this year is any different. And it's crazy because, yeah, Kyle Shanahan owns Sean McVay. And last year, if it wasn't for a dropped interception in the NFC Championship game.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, they would have gone to the Super Bowl. You know, Brian. I'm sorry.
Right.
But my thing with the 49ers, and I told Lil this during the game, I think their defense is elite. You have a sick pass rusher in Nick Bosa. Ryan, this kid Hufanga, I mean, oh my God, I think he is going to be an absolute monster. A fifth-round pick, reading that play to Cooper Kupp, of course, on the pick six, that was another play that I think secured the game for San Francisco. But that kid's a stud. Jimmy Ward is out, so he'll be coming back. Warner's a beast, obviously. Kinlaw didn't even play. Trent Williams didn't even play on the offensive line. And still, the 49ers, really, the game wasn't really close. They kind of pushed the Rams around. And I think what's interesting about the 49ers, it feels like they're at their best. And I'll say this about Jimmy G, too. When their backs are against the wall, you know, they come off the bad performance against Denver. And I agree, I didn't penalize them too badly for losing that game, even though Denver has struggled. The Broncos in September in Denver, that's a very tough place to play. Their defense, as you said, Ryan, is really good, a top 5 defense. And I know everyone was clowning on them because Jimmy G pulled the Dan Orlovsky running out of the end zone and their offense couldn't really get going. But I do believe in this team. And as much as I like the 49ers, I'm starting to realize I'm out on the Rams. I think we're finally seeing a team that is wreaking the cautions of trading all of their first-round picks for the last few years. And I know, like, Matthew Stafford is one of the most bizarre quarterbacks I've ever seen because he's a great guy. His teammates love him. He's a former number 1 overall pick. He has all the physical attributes. He has a sick arm. And you guys know, when it comes to the quarterback position, I usually like the guys with the big arms that could sling it. And Matthew Stafford fits that category. And for the first part of his career, really up until he got to LA, I wanted to think that, he was just on a bad team with the Detroit Lions. And if you surround him with good and better talent and good coaching, he'll be able to come through for you. But even with Sean McVay, a coach I really respect, a guy that I think is a top 5 coach in the league, he's changed his philosophy a little bit. When he first got to the league and he had a healthy Todd Gurley, he was just running the ball 30 times a game. But now with Matthew Stafford, he's kind of pivoted to that pass-first approach. And I just don't know if it's sustainable because, A, the Rams can't run the ball. Their offensive line is in shambles. And when I see that, I immediately red flag a team. And 2, when they're very predictable. And I'm out on the Rams. And Stafford he throws way too many interceptions. That's the issue. That pick 6, it wasn't good. And we saw it at times last year. They were able to get through it. But I just don't think this roster as a whole is good enough as it was last year.
I think for me,
go ahead.
Just real quickly here, a stat for thought. You talk about the amount of interceptions that Matthew Stafford throws. Right now he's leading the league in interceptions, and last year he was tied for the lead. Ultimately, they won the Super Bowl that year. But if my man's on the 49ers, I always forget his name, no matter how many times.
Tart.
If Mr. Pop whatever caught that ball, all right, that interception, the game was a wrap. That would be the headline. That would be the headline that Matthew Stafford, he leaves the Lions, go to the Rams, and he botched the Super Bowl. That would be the headline if one man was not wearing gloves in the daggone dome. So you see how narratives can change. And look, I never want to take anything away from a team that goes through the gauntlet of a schedule when it comes to the NFL and the physical toe and winning Super Bowl and call it luck. But let's be real here. Luck is a factor. And I hate the fact that people try to downplay luck in the form of success. Like, yeah, granted, you work hard. That's a component right there. But luck has to meet you halfway to accomplish the inevitable that many people are trying to accomplish. So let's not downplay the luck. They got lucky. My Buccaneers was hurt. Okay, they got lucky, man. It's cool. My Bucks was lucky too. We played Taylor Heineke in the wild card. I beat him, and then we beat the Saints team. Drew Brees gave us that game with 3 interceptions. And then we go to the NFC Championship game. That was the only game we had to play to really win, and we won. So we were lucky. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And there were no fans, right? That was the COVID year.
And the Chiefs had no offensive linemen, even though everybody still picked them. They had no linemen. So it's like luck is a thing. Let's not downplay it. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Which is crazy. Like, I was talking for one. By the way, Jaquise Tart dropped that pass. I don't know if you guys remember the game the other night. The Gibson guy dropped that pass, the interception in the end zone. I thought it gave me memories again. I said, this is about to be another headache here. Guy drops a wide open interception, drops it, which, by the way, that's Jimmy Ward's spot. So Jimmy Ward coming back, that was going to be Jimmy Ward catching that. And another thing, Matthew Stafford, like you said everything right on Real Live. Matthew Stafford led the league in interceptions last year. The crazy thing is what people don't understand is like he's going to throw a lot of interceptions all year long. Now, the thing is, as an offense, you got to capitalize on his turnovers. The thing that happens with Matthew Stafford is weird, right? He can throw all these interceptions in the game, and he could be down by 4 points at the end of the game, and that's the one drive he may not throw an interception on that goes into the end zone. A lot of people don't capitalize on all those interceptions in the game, so it'd be like he had 4 interceptions. Then you'd be like, he had a terrible game, but they still win.
Don't you feel like the same thing happened? Don't you feel like the same thing happened with Patrick Mahomes? Like he should have threw 4 interceptions against the Chargers, and yet Herbert makes one mistake. He threw that one mistake in the red zone, the game was over. He can't afford
it. Because you give them guys so many points and opportunities. And I'm saying to myself, like, this guy gets all these turnovers. He throws it away. And then if you don't capitalize, all his interceptions go like the default, even though, like you said in the numbers, like the stats show that he got interceptions, but they still may win because the offense doesn't, capitalize. That's all.
And I think for me, too, and I'm pretty much done with my take on this topic, is that I expect a little bit more from Sean McVay. Like, I feel like we exempted him. We never really talked about him yet. We talked about Matthew Stafford and the issues. Let's talk about Sean McVay and that guy right there, the quote-unquote offensive guru. Like, you brought in Allen Robinson. Now, I understand my mans can't separate from a daggone mat. Like, I get it. He's not a separation specialist. But my mans, I thought you brought him in there to use him in the red zone on one-on-one opportunities. And it's like they wait to the fourth quarter, okay, where like the game is out of reach and they just throw it up there for him and the passes be way out of it. Like he can't even make a play. So it's like, if you're Sean McVay, I expect you, Mr. Guru, to get him the ball and stop trying to feed Higbee and Cooper Kupp. Like I expect the offensive guru to do it. Like I can understand the Bears. They don't know what they're doing over there. Like offensively, they never knew what they was doing over there. I get it. Cool. But an offensive guru, if I'm going to call you that, if I'm going to give you titles here on the show, live up to your title, bro. Get up out of here. Like, come on. So, yeah, I think he needs to take some of that blame because by that Bills game, when they got smoked like that, that was a terrible game that he called. And this one was a terrible game that he called. He got to step his game up.